It's
What did
live.
I just
Are we live right now?
No.
How did
Oh,
this
yeah,
happen?
we are.
We're live right now.
How did this
Okay.
come to
We are live. We have quite a few guests. All of them have one thing in common. They love Jeff. Remember this keychain we talked about earlier? There's going to be about 5,000 of these floating around tonight. We are back. GAW News, Lincoln Crum here. We've been with you all day long. We've had a whole lot of fun. Everything from talking about politicians, talking about snakish style attorneys. We're lucky enough to have Matthew Chinn sitting in on a roundtable with us. Duard Avery, the old dude with the sunglasses on. He doesn't know that you're not supposed to wear sunglasses inside anymore, but that's okay. Larry Wilder. And John Perkins back here in the back with his hand. Well, at least he doesn't have his sunglasses on. And what we like to do is for the next 15, 20 minutes, just kind of dish about the day, dish about what you all think is going to happen. Maybe pull a few things that's happened in everybody's past and talk about that a little bit. Kind of, make it relative to what we're talking about today. We have some ground rules. We can't speak over each other. Okay? So that's the first rule in TV. I know some of you have been on TV. I'm on TV every week. Some of you have been on TV, some by choice, some not by choice. Is that right, Larry? Larry can concur a little bit. But, we've had a lot of fun bringing information to everybody today. And starting at 6:05, we're going to start talking about election results and the mayor's race. Remember, we have 3 heated mayors are running for mayor. BobTheMayor.com. Robert L stands for Libertarian, is Greg. Thomas R, which does not stand for Republican, Galligan. And Mike Moore. So all 3 of those, and then we have a heavily contested city council at large seats open, as well as in the individual districts. We've got age folks that are running from 21. I think the oldest candidate is 74, and there's a good mix of age and demographics. They're still working on our set, stealing our chairs. So let's just kind of go around the room and take 15 to 20 seconds. Scoot up here, Mr. Perkins. And why don't you just give me a 15-second recap. Well, that'd be impossible. Why don't you give me a 30-second recap of what you think the results are going to be this afternoon?
58% Galligan.
Okay.
5 to 8% the Libertarian candidate.
Bob Isgrigg.
And the rest goes to another person.
Mike Moore.
That would be correct.
Yes. Now, one of the things that we've done all day today is we have not chosen sides and played favorites. I committed to not do that. If you all want to do that, you can do that all day long. That doesn't bother me a bit. But I'm neutral. I'm not a Democrat today. I'm not a Republican today. I'm not a Libertarian today. I'm not an independent today. I'm just a local guy. So what's your take, Mr. Wilder?
I think that probably the biggest, before the discussion was had earlier about the size of the turnout, I thought that there was probably a little chance that the incumbent would lose. However, I would say that today, at this time, having heard that there may be as many as 10,000 people vote, I suspect that it will be a very close race and probably too close to call.
What is going to happen if all these absentee ballots come into play? Do you think we're going to have a hanging Chad issue like we did in Florida so many years ago? Do you think there's going to be recount after recount after recount?
Well, actually, no, and the reason is this. People don't realize that the absentee ballots were substantiated on the day that they were sent out. In other words, the only challenge that can be made to an absentee ballot today, as we sit here today, is whether or not that absentee ballot belonged to a person who lived in the precinct where it's voted.
Okay.
So that's over. The issue of challenging an absentee ballot seems to be being litigated through rumor, because truly, accurately, and no question about it, the only way today to challenge an absentee ballot is to say the individual who signed that ballot does not live in this precinct. The absentee board sitting there who checked those different signatures on the way in they confirm that the people who requested the ballot, the people who voted the ballot, or the people whose signature was on the website that they check against for the signature. So that's kind of a non-issue. The only other way an absentee can be challenged would be if there was an error made by the election board themselves on initials. However, the statute provides that a person's right to vote and the disenfranchisement of an individual's vote cannot occur as a result of a government error. So if there's a failure to...
Oh, Lord help us if the government made
so
an error.
I
Right?
don't believe, so on a personal level, I don't believe that it's a... And for every individual who challenges someone's right to vote, they have to file an affidavit. They have to fill out that affidavit and express why they believe reasonably that they have a valid challenge, and it's a Class D felony if you challenge a person's vote and you don't have good cause.
Okay, so I'm going to say right now, I'm going to certify that the last 3 minutes of what Larry Wilder just said is the accumulation of all of the smartest things that had been said all day today, right there. You did it. But there's one thing I got to ask you, pulling out of what you talked about. Litigation by rumor. Isn't all litigation based on the premise of rumor? We're going to go to Mr. Avery in the glass. Is your name Avery or is it Jeff or Judge?
I have no independent recollection, Senator, but I want to concur with what the learned lawyer, Mr. Wilder, said about the absentee ballots. There has been not a hint of fraud or of any sort of improper voting in this election. The election board, which also includes a Republican attorney, and the...
Who is that?
I'm not sure. It used to be John Montgomery, but they've changed a couple of times. John is not, his health's not really good right now, but he was there for a number of years. But there's not been a single ballot that was suspect. All it is fluff and someone attempting to get media exposure. In moving into the race itself, a larger turnout does generally benefit the challenger.
Yep.
It may well be, and I know you guys have covered this really well, it may well be that that will tighten down considerably. And then you have a lot of what I call true believers that are going to vote for Bob Isgregg on merit. They think he's a true conservative. They like what he says. That would tend to take votes away from the Republican candidate. The next point that might move Tom enough away from the margin there for him to win would be the Democratic organization has worked exceptionally hard in getting elderly people, people that would be out of town, people that were stuck because of bridge traffic, and people that might not have a good voting history but are considered to be Democrat votes. They have done a good job of getting them to the polls ahead of time. Excellent, excellent work. And those should be a vast majority Democrat ballots. Not all of them, but a vast majority. And a lot of those are also conservative voters that would vote for Tom Galligan because they think he's doing a good job. So in a nutshell, I would put the race tightens when a bigger turnout occurs. The vote is then split because people have like to express themselves, not just A and B. They wouldn't even mind having 3 or 4 candidates. And Bob Isgregg is a legitimate conservative. He's run a very good race, and he's going to get a certain percentage of the vote. Might be as low as 4, might be as high as 8. That would tend to take votes away from the Republican. And then the Democrat organization has worked exceptionally hard in getting people to the polls.
Do you know what his middle name is, Al? Is it truly Robert Libertarian Isgregg?
It's a good question. I've never heard his no.
Okay. Mr. Chinn, what are your thoughts?
I know Mr. Wilder's middle name. Odell.
Yeah.
You know,
You have like 4 or 5
there's
middle
actually-
names. Oh, no, that's your children.
My children have
Your children has like 4 or 5
There's
middle
actually a
names.
clothing line based in New York and in London, and I think in Spain, the Odell collection. That's very
Really?
famous.
Do you wear their clothes?
Yes, keep look at it.
Yes, he wears Odell undergarments.
Teresa can answer to my undergarments.
Yes, we're not going to pull Teresa in. She seems like a sweet person. Yes, that is true Larry Wilder for you, trying to pull other people into the debate and the argument. Matt, what do you think is going to happen at 6 o'clock tonight?
I think it's Galligan by 150
Points, votes,
Votes.
percent?
votes.
Yes, 150 votes. You know, that's very little. Let's talk about the
What about Tom
wide.
John? What's his thought?
Let's.
Yeah, whoa,
John, he gave it.
I'll tell you why Galligan's going to win.
You tell me.
Well, I'm going to tell you why.
Tell
Number
me.
one, the other 2 candidates, neither one have the experience, good experience, managing large budgets and organizations. Mr. Moore, as a county commissioner, helped put Clark County, and his brother Chuck helped put Clark County on the verge of bankruptcy when they lowered the maximum levy of the county some years ago. Then can't figure out why we're $2.5 to $3 million short.
So that doesn't make him qualify.
If people understand and what the issues really are, and then again, Tom ran well in the primary in the newly annexed areas. So I don't. If there's going to be an anti-Galligan in the newly annexed areas, which by the way was my ordinance, I'm kind of proud of that. But anyway,
let me ask you this.
I had to get a
I
plug
get
in there.
it. He's pulling for.
He's going to twist.
He's
his arm
pulling
and
for
shake
Thomas
their
Galligan.
shoulder.
Now, didn't you run for mayor at one time?
3 times.
You ran for mayor 3 times.
I
What was
got
the deal?
I got beat on the absentees the first time.
Oh yeah.
122 votes.
Lesson learned. So you've run for mayor. He's run for county commissioner.
I've
You
been
ran
on
for
the
county council.
No. I've been on the city council. I was city council for 20 years.
Okay.
And that's why the city's in such good shape, because the fact
Oh wow.
well, can I say that?
Okay, I'm gonna
Now,
save
wait a minute, let
you.
me finish my story.
I'm gonna save you.
20 years ago.
Larry, have you ever run for political office? This is what I'm trying to get to the beat up. How come?
Honestly, better kingmaker than the king. They never assassinate the kingmakers.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of times they don't know who the kingmaker is, right?
That's exactly right.
And Mr. Avery, have you ever run for office?
I was tricked by the county chairman into running for office in 1975 when I was elected 3 times. That was back before electricity. So I've been out of office for 24 years. Basically, I don't
Do you miss it? That's
No.
the big
You
question.
get your life back in about a week after you get out of the building. Down.
Yeah.
All you do is put up with hoods and punks and thieves and do favors for other people.
That sounds like the legal
I
community,
used to
right?
work for you.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Listen, you guys don't know the story of how Larry became a probation officer in 1 week.
We don't have enough time.